I paid $7.50 the other night to touch my own money, not for anything dramatic. I was standing in a drugstore, fluorescent lights humming, cough syrup aisle behind me, and I needed cash. The ATM was right there. I pressed a few buttons, accepted a screen I didn't fully read, and walked away lighter than I expected. 2 fees followed me out, one from the machine, one from my bank. Neither of them felt embarrassed about it. It happened quickly. That's the part that still catches people, not that there's a fee. Fees are everywhere now. It's that you're paying simply to access money that already belongs to you. There's no service performed that feels proportional to the charge at all. This didn't happen overnight. Banks didn't wake up one morning and decide to nickel and dime everyone for sport. It crept in quietly as branches closed, machines spread out, and convenience became the selling point. ATMs stopped being an extension of your bank and started behaving more like vending machines with fine print. The real shift happened when in-network and out-of-network became normal language. Those terms sound harmless, almost technical, but they're the entire game once you notice them everywhere. Suddenly, it matters daily. What makes it slippery is the screen, that friendly pause where the machine asks if you'd like to continue, and somewhere in smaller text it mentions a fee. The language is polite, optional, as if you're being offered dessert, briefly smiling. By the time you realize what you agreed to, the receipt is already printing. There's a familiarity to this that older viewers recognize right away. It's the same feeling as watching long-distance minutes drain a phone bill quietly again somehow today. Nothing illegal, nothing hidden, just a system that relies on you being slightly distracted and in a hurry. Banks count on that moment. You're standing there because you need cash now, not because analysis sounds appealing right then alone usually. The machine knows it. Your bank knows it. The fees exist in that gap between urgency and attention. And here's the thing that matters. This isn't about being careless or behind the times for anyone paying attention anymore today quietly. Plenty of sharp, organized adults still get caught by this. I did. The system is designed to make the wrong option feel like the easiest one. The good news is that this isn't some unsolvable puzzle after all anymore really. It's not a mystery product or a trick buried in legal language. It's mostly about knowing where not to stand and which screens not to accept. Once you understand how these networks actually work, options appear nearby suddenly clearly enough. So instead of paying $7 to touch your own money, we slow this down, decode what's really happening, and figure out how to stop donating to machines that haven't earned it today without regret or apology any more quietly again. So let's move from irritation to mechanics. Once you accept the fees aren't personal, the fix becomes boring in a good way. 5 moves, none clever, all effective. The irritation fades when the problem turns into a checklist instead of a mystery. First move is stopping the guessing. Treating ATMs like light poles is the mistake. If it's there, people use it. Instead, open the bank app first. Use the ATM locator. That map shows machines your bank won't charge for nearby. That locator isn't decoration. It's a live agreement list. 2 blocks farther can mean $0 instead of 6. The app already knows which machines are friendly. The only change is asking before pressing buttons instead of after seeing a receipt. Second move is learning the shared networks, then forgetting everything else. Allpoint, MoneyPass, Co-op, they sound abstract because they are. They're back-end deals, not storefronts. What matters is where they appear in ordinary places. CVS, Walgreens, Target, grocery stores, convenience chains like 7-Eleven. The ATM looks generic. The fee situation isn't. If the bank participates, that machine effectively becomes your bank for withdrawals, even without branding on the wall. Third move is debit cash back while already buying something. It feels too simple, which is why people overlook it. You're at the register anyway. The screen asks about cash back. You say yes. No extra transaction, usually no fee. It's the closest thing left to getting cash while already at a counter. Limits are lower, and not every store offers it, but as a habit, it quietly cuts ATM use in half and keeps fees from appearing at all. Fourth move is turning on alerts the bank rarely highlights. Many apps warn before an out-of-network withdrawal, not after. A simple notice saying this will cost you. Without it, the machine's polite language usually wins. With the alert on, there's one last moment to cancel and walk away. It's like caller ID for fees. Obvious once enabled, strangely absent if never activated, and very effective at stopping impulse confirmations. Fifth move is understanding cash deposits and reloads, especially with digital banks. Fees still hide there. Some retailers charge, some machines do, some apps pass costs quietly. Checking instructions before handing over bills avoids surprise charges. If this sounds familiar, it should. It mirrors long-distance calling plans when minutes mattered. Calls weren't expensive because of distance, but timing and routing. ATMs work the same way now. The cash is identical, the path determines the cost. None of this requires loyalty or arguing with a machine. You don't tip the robot. You just choose the right path before confirming. Check the locator, use the network, ask for cash back, enable alerts, watch reload fees, and fees stop feeling inevitable. By the time you understand how the fees actually happen, something shifts. The irritation softens, not because the fees were ever fair, but because they stop feeling mysterious. Mystery is what makes a $6 charge sting. Once you can see the mechanism, it becomes administrative. And administration, while dull, is manageable. There's also a quiet reckoning that happens here. Most people have paid ATM fees they didn't need to pay, not once, repeatedly. That can trigger annoyance at the bank, at the system, sometimes at yourself. None of that is useful. The system didn't single you out, it simply counted on habit. Habits are expensive when the routing changes underneath them. This is where it helps to reframe what's actually going on. Cash didn't become scarce. Banks didn't become cruel. The geography of money changed, and many of us kept walking the old map without realizing the center moved somewhere else. When the branch was the center, proximity mattered. Now the network matters. The fee is the toll for taking the familiar road when a free one exists a block away. Once you adjust for that, control comes back quickly, not dramatic control. Quiet control that shows up in small, repeatable decisions. You open the locator before you leave. You recognize the all-point logo at a pharmacy without thinking. You say yes to $20 cash back while buying groceries and skip the machine entirely. These are not clever tricks. They're routing decisions, the same kind made by systems every day. There's also a small relief in realizing you don't have to be loyal to hardware. The ATM isn't your bank, it's just a terminal. The logo on the wall doesn't matter as much as the agreement behind it. When you internalize that, the machines stop feeling adversarial and start feeling interchangeable. Alerts play a similar role. They're not there to shame you, they're there to interrupt momentum. Most fees happen because momentum wins. You're already there, you're already late, you already started. The alert gives you a pause long enough to choose again. That pause is worth more than the warning text itself. Cash deposits and reloads are where a little vigilance still pays off. Digital banks, especially, keep costs low by shifting certain actions to retail partners. That's reasonable, but it means the burden of checking falls on you. Once you accept that, it stops feeling sneaky and starts feeling procedural. You check the app, you choose the right door, you move on. If all of this feels familiar, it should. We've lived through this pattern before. Long-distance calling wasn't expensive because voices traveled farther. It was expensive because of how the call was routed. Cell plans fixed that by changing the routing. ATM fees live in the same category, same cash, different path, different price. The adult advantage here isn't speed or technical flair, it's pattern recognition. You've seen systems like this before. You know that the cost is rarely in the thing itself, it's in how you access it. So the fee-free mindset isn't about being clever, it's about being current, updating the map, letting go of the idea that convenience always costs extra. Sometimes convenience just moved. Walk beside the system instead of wrestling it. Choose the free road when it's clearly marked. Forgive the tolls you paid before you knew better. They bought you information. You're still learning. See you in the next move.